Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on how to collect more from your accounts receivables and automating your invoice process. My name's Rayhan Aleem. I'm the managing partner and founder of Alpha Pro Partners. We're an accounting firm based in Dubai, and we are the GCC's only Xero Platinum Partners. I'm pleased to be joined by our in-house expert and rising star, Yash, who will be going into more detail on the automation of AR and invoicing as well. Yash, you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Thank you for the introduction, Rehan. So I am the partnership and implementation specialist. I help implement Xero for our clients in the UAE and the whole GCC region. Any questions about implementation, you can always feel free to reach out to me, and I'll give it back to you, Rehan, to continue the presentation.
Thank you very much, Yash. Yash is the expert now, right? So he knows in Xero inside out. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him. Today, we'll cover how to manage your accounts receivable and sales process. We'll talk about how you can fix your cash flow and cash conversion and the cash conversion cycle. And then Yash will then talk more about Xero and how to automate your AR as well as your invoicing. There will be Q&A at the end. So please feel free to put your questions and answers in the comment section. And then at the end of the webinar, we will then answer them. Yeah. In terms of the importance of AR management, so according to Dun & Bradstreet, which is a US company which provides analysis and insights into businesses, 90% of businesses close due to poor cash management issues. Now, anyone who works in and lives in this region, we can all say that it's probably it's a bit more serious in this region because your AR is a little bit more delayed than compared to, say, the US or the European markets. And so it's very important that we keep looking at our processes and ensuring that it's continuously optimized as well. Making sure your accounts receivable is optimized means that you'll have better cash flow for your business. You'll have less errors and disputes with your customers. So if, for example, you're just sending out invoices without looking at the contract, without understanding what you're invoicing or speaking to someone within the company who sold that service, it can slow down the process of getting paid because you've sent the wrong invoice in the first place. So minimizing this process and making it more slicker also helps as well. You'll also save a lot of time with your staff resources. So if your staff is spent, let's say, 1 day a week on calling up and sending WhatsApp chases, at least if you have an automated system, what that allows you to do is it saves a lot of time. And inevitably, you'll have some customers, you send an invoice, they'll pay you straight away. And some customers like taking their sweet time and paying you. And it's understanding the different mix and when to prompt to. And also it helps with customer relationships. Your touch points with your customers, not just when you sell your product, but a touch point is when you're sending the reminders, sending them the invoice. If you're a brand focused organization and you want to ensure that not only do you have a good sales process and you're good at customer service from that point of view, it also goes from the sales all the way to your AR process. And that customer touch point will be something that helps you retain and grow your customer base as well. Now, the accounts receivable process is not just sending out invoices and waiting for payment. It's quite a sophisticated process in a sense that you may sign a contract with your customer and you send out a quote. Guess what? There's a few more steps before they acknowledge it and they'll pay you. So you may have to send out a sales order, which may not be the accountant. It could be someone else in the organization. You may then need to deliver your products. And when you're delivering your products, there's risk in terms of making sure the right products are there and it's not damaged once it's sent to the customer. And then maybe you're then sending out your invoice. So from the time when you've sent out a quote to the time your invoice could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You've then sent out your invoice. You're then chasing for payment. Once you receive the payment, you then need to reconcile it in your bank account and then send out an SOA, a statement of account to your customer to say, look, this is what's outstanding and this is how much money we received so far. So this whole process is not just, like I said, it's not just a matter of I'm going to send out the invoice to my customer and wait for money to come. There's quite a lot of touch points with your customers and within your organization as well to ensure that this process is running smoothly. So some of the things you want to make sure you do is you work as a team. So sales, accounting, customer service, they're working together and they're collaborating in terms of what's going on in each customer cycle. And you also want to document the process. There is people come and go. And if one chink of the chain is broken, then it can affect the company in a very negative way. And so ensuring you document each step of the process, make sure that continuity happens with your business as well, which doesn't affect the receivables, which ultimately doesn't affect working capital and the liquidity of the business as well. This then falls into the cash conversion cycle. So I don't want to go too much into the cash conversion cycle because I understand it can be quite a complicated topic. And this is a webinar on its own, right? Talking about the cash conversion cycle. In a nutshell, your cash conversion cycle is when I put 100 dirhams into my business today, how long does it take for that money to come out? If it takes 6 months, 3 months, it means the cash that you put into the business is going to be in the business for quite a long time before you can then reinvest it into somewhere else. Accounts receivable is just one part of that process. So even though you can improve your accounts receivable process after this webinar, there's still going to be other aspects of your business which you need to improve to help your cash conversion cycle, which ultimately helps your cash flow. In terms of, if I can give you a very basic example, your cash conversion cycle, if you're, say, a product business and you're selling to retailers, you have 100 dirhams and you are paying for t-shirts, for example. You're sending it to the production facility in China and you're agreeing on the designs and how long it will take to be produced. So you've already spent that 100 dirhams on the t-shirts. It may take 2 weeks, it may take a month for you to have that production ready. You then need to send it from China to, say, Dubai to a fulfillment center. That might take another 2 weeks, might take a month, depending on how you want to ship it. The fulfillment center then sends it to the retailer. So this is where you then send the invoice, right? Because once you've sent it to the retailer, may say, we will pay you after 45 days or 60 days. So then, and obviously the reality is they probably pay you on 70 days or 80 days. So when you put that 100 dirhams into inventory from day one, by the time you get to it going to the retailer and the retailer paying you, it could easily be 6 months, it could easily be 9 months, right? And so making sure you reduce that cycle means that you're able to then optimize the amount of cash that comes out of your business. And the more cash that comes into your business, the more you can use that money to reinvest, to grow the business, or to invest in fixed assets to ensure that you're able to enhance options that you have, or maybe pay back your shareholders or those kind of things. So it's very important that you get that. Once you do get that right, obviously your cash flow is optimized. You have better working capital. Better working capital means that if you've got a certain cash balance and that working capital only lasts 3 months or 6 months, you don't have much of a buffer and you don't have much of a flexibility to reinvest your excess cash flow. And so you want to be in a position where you're able to do that as a business owner or even as an accountant. If you're an accountant and you want to impress your boss, you want to make sure that you're able to improve your accounts receivable process to help the business have more options to make better decisions. If you are a company, a startup, and you've received funding, one of the key KPIs is going to be your burn rate. Now, if you are investing in stocks and products and your working capital cycle, your cash conversion cycle is fairly large, your burn rate is going to fluctuate. And the reason why it's going to fluctuate is because sometimes your cash is tied up into inventory and into your accounts receivable. And sometimes it's tied into, sometimes you have it there. So ensuring that your receivables and your cash conversion cycle is optimized will help you have better and more accurate burn rates in your business as well. And what we've also started to do recently is we've started to, sometimes as a business, your P&L say, Joe, you've made a profit. If you look at your bank balance, you've got nothing in there because you've reinvested all of your cash into your inventory so you can increase your revenues. For many businesses, it can be quite demoralizing to see I'm making profit. Where is my profit? So one thing that we do advise some of the clients now is open up a separate bank account and book your profits, so a certain portion of your profits into that bank account. So let's say, for example, in the example I gave, you've got 100 dirhams and you've bought t-shirts and and at the end of the cycle, you're getting 200 dirhams, you got 100 dirham profit. So maybe 25 dirhams of that profit, you then put it into a bank account. So you can at least grow that cash balance to ensure that you can see where your profit is going. It also helps you have better controls in terms of when I reinvest in more stock, I'm not putting all my cash into the stock. I'm limiting to how much I can put into there to ensure that the liquidity of the business is smooth. So these are some examples that obviously will help with the business. I'm now going to pass it on to Yash, who can give you practical examples on how to improve your invoicing process, how to automate your AR. Obviously, we use a system called Xero, but there are many other systems out there that can help you with it. But we'll show you some examples from our side so you can get a good picture of how to do that. So Yash, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rehan. Thank you so much. So here I'll be showing you how you can automate your accounts receivable process using Xero. So Xero's account receivable module is very simple to understand. It's very simple even for business owners, not just for accountants, where it allows you to even automate reminders to your customers when invoice is overdue. If you're just a business owner using Xero, you can still use it to automate these reminders, where you can even build the relationship with your customers and get them reminders out so that you can receive the payments faster. Now, I'll just present my screen to show you how Xero looks and how you can automate these reminders using Xero. So where you can see this on your screen when you go into Xero is, firstly, when you go onto the dashboard, you can see my screen right now. You'll be able to see a short chart which is given to you by Xero, which shows you the invoices owed to you, which is your AR, where you can see the amounts that you have are pending in drafts, the amounts that are awaiting payments from your customers, and the amounts that are overdue. This helps you gain an understanding of your accounts receivable as soon as you open Xero. Then when you go into the AR module, which is the invoicing, it gives you access to create invoices directly, send statements of accounts to your customers, and even import multiple invoices into Xero, where you can even add certain plan dates in Xero or plan when you're going to receive the money into your account, which helps you understand your cash flow, like Rehan had mentioned previously, where you can add an expect date and also notes to the receipt, notes to the invoice that you have pending in Xero. For example, if we use this feature called invoice reminders, which is a really good feature in Xero, then I think helps automate that entire process of communicating with your client. Where, for example, if you have a certain invoice which is overdue by a certain frequency of days, Xero will send an automated reminder to your customers based on what you would like to send the customer. You can even edit the template where you can put in the placeholders where it mentions what you would like the customer to know, what is the amount, and it even send a payment link for the customer to make payment. Now, where you can even add don't send reminders for a substantial amount. So if you feel like the invoice is of a substantial amount, only then your customer will get a reminder for the invoice. Now, going back to the demonstration of sharing, Rehan, if you can just show us the next slide. Yeah. So this feature will allow you to directly contact your customers and they will allow you to send them reminders and strengthen that relationship like we spoke about previously. And you can even set up payment services linked to your invoices, which will help you connect payments that are auto-reconciled in Xero. Now, if I go back to presenting my screen, you will be able to again see what application we use to integrate our payment services with Xero. So if you go into Xero, you will be able to see in the setting, when you go to your invoice setting, there are payment services. So the payment services that we use to integrate our invoices with the payment services online would be two of the providers that we use in UAE, which is one of them is PayPal and one of them would be Stripe. Now, how this works in a certain invoice, it would be is when you go to an invoice and you create an invoice, you can send a payment link with your invoice to the customers for them to make the payment online, which makes it really easy for them to go ahead, take out their card and make the payment to you, and for them unless waiting for a longer time where they would make a bank transfer or reject payment. It would take a longer time for you to receive the money into your account as well. So if you do open an invoice, you can link your online payment services into the invoice itself. And you can, how it works is once the customer receives the payment link and makes the payment to your invoice to either PayPal or Stripe, the invoice is automatically reconciled in Xero, which helps you to, manage your accounts receivable aging and even your payable aging for that instance. Yeah. Can we go on to your next slide? Yeah. Yeah. So this is where I displayed how you can set up your Stripe account and link it with Xero, where exactly you can, it makes it very convenient for the customers. It enhances the accuracy and reduces more errors to be made by any of your accountants because they will not be the ones reconciling. But once the customer has paid the invoice, directly be reconciled in Xero with the payment from the online link. And then you'd have real-time tracking and transparency of how much revenue is increased by once the payment is made. We'll move on to the next one. So these are the best providers in the UAE for linking it to Xero, where they have a small amount of charge on each invoice that you will receive. But however, the seamless transaction and the real-time tracking would really help integrate these links into your AR, and it will really help make it faster for your business to receive money into the business and also strengthen the relationship with your customer. And I think that's it from Xero and how we can automate our AR processes. I think, Rehan, if you have something else, we can go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the key thing is with Stripe and PayPal, when you integrate it with Xero, effectively, your AR is literally updated in real time because it means that as soon as your customer makes a payment through Stripe, through Xero Stripe, when you run your AR report, it's literally updated all the time. And then when you reconcile it against your bank, can quickly identify which ones the payouts between the invoices, and you can reconcile it straight away without having to. I know with some other providers, when you're doing the reconciliation process, the bank reconciliation process, the payout reports are not that great, right? So you can't always identify the charges as well as the invoices that relate to that payout. But in Stripe, you can actually see the invoice number and the fee that goes against the payout, which makes that reconciliation process literally seconds rather than having to review a payout report and trying to figure out which invoices relate to which payout. And so that's why we do obviously recommend, and we use Stripe as well. I think that's it from in terms of the webinar. Just wanted to know if there's any Q&As that anyone has that they want to talk about. We don't have any Q&As at the moment in the chat. So what I can do, Yash, is I can ask you some questions. So do you want to just give an example of the AR and how an invoice that can be literally once you mark it paid, it updates it straight away? I think that would be quite good for the audience to see how that works as well.
Definitely. So I'll just share my screen.
Yeah. So effectively what happens is on this invoice, if you just scroll to the bottom, so make a payment, receive a payment, right? So basically what happens in Xero is what Stripe does, it automates that process. So as soon as payment is made, it automatically marks it as paid, right?
So once that is done, then even your receivable is updated and it reduces by a certain amount. It shows that the invoice has been paid and it reduces it from your receivable report. And where you can view these reports is if you go to accounting and you go to the report section, you will get multiple reports for receivables where you can see a summary report of your receivables and you can even see a detailed report of receivables. Where if you go onto the payables and receivables section into your reporting and accounting, you would have a multiple amount of reports that you can provide to your customers and even for your internal processes. For example, if I want to see an age receivable summary, I can just open this report and it will show me the aging by date. And you can see what customers are due right now for to pay you, or less than a month for a month, 2 months, 3 months or older than that. Where you can see each customer's due amount for the invoices that we have processed for them. And you can even see and provide this aging as well. You can export this directly into PDF, Excel, or Google Sheet for you to do any changes or even provide the support to any of your customers. You can have a percentage total and you can even filter the support with different transactions. So if you want to just see an age receivable summary for one contact only, you can just select one contact and apply the filter and update the list. So you can
You
see
can
that.
also, yeah, the other thing I was going to add is you can also add payment. You can also add limits in terms of what you invoice. So if you
Yes,
want to go to Yash and then customers, right? So what this does is, let's say, for example, you've got a customer and they got a credit limit of say of 10,000. You can limit it in Xero. So then whenever you raise an invoice, if they've already got 10,000 receivables, you can then, it will then stop you from being able to invoice them more. Yeah. So if you go to if you got next to new, there's three dots. So we just go to that. Yeah. So here you can put the, so the credit limit account amount at the bottom.
yeah,
Yeah. So there you can put like a given value of say 10,000 dirhams. And let's say that customer goes above that, you can block any more invoices to be issued to them. And it limits the amount of receivables that has been allocated to that particular customer. We've got a Q&A and we've got a gentleman called Sayed Junaid Hussain who'd like to share our details. So we'll reach out to you, Sayed. Yash will reach out to you and we'll set up a meeting with you. So yeah, I think that's it then, Yash. I think you've covered most of the topics. I think if anyone has any more questions, they can reach out to you directly. They can reach out to me as well. And yeah, we're more than happy to help in terms of helping you with your AR process and seeing how we can support from that point of view.
yeah. I think one more thing I can go through is like this part, which is the Xero network key. So for
Yeah.
customers using Xero, you can even add a Xero network key. Whereas if they create an invoice for you, you get a payable directly in Xero. So it works vice versa with both customers, where both of you use Xero, you can add the network key. And if you create a purchase for them, it creates an invoice in their system
Yeah.
and sales as well. So that's
Brilliant.
also the feature. I think it automates the AR as well.
So we've got a question asking, is it possible to calculate daily sales outstanding or daily inventories outstanding automatically? So the short answer is yes, it is possible. The long answer is for daily sales, what usually happens is sometimes there are apps available which you can pull the data from Xero, and then it will give you a complete dashboard of all of the different insights in Xero, not just DSO, but other metrics as well, which you can just literally run a report and it will give you all of that information. For daily inventories outstanding, it depends on what type of inventories you have and whether you use Xero, whether you use an app and what kind of business you are. I think, Yash, if you just want to reach out to Ria separately and just find out what type of business it is, and then we can then give you the relevant advice on how to do that. But the short answer is yes, but it just depends on the type of businesses and what type of processes you're running to be able to optimize that report that you need.
Okay.
I think that's it then. Like I said, feel free to reach out to us. We're available on LinkedIn. You can email us directly or give us a call, and we're more than happy to help you. And yeah, happy connecting.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Bye.